Welcome to the V Grillers podcast. I'm your host, George, founder and CEO of VGAS, the Vertical Grill Accessory Storage System, here with my co-host, MrFlavorsmith.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is going to be a tasty one today.
We're going to talk about ribs.
Yeah, ribs.
Let's talk about ribs.
Let's
All
talk
right.
about
And
ribs.
let's stick to pork ribs because ribs is a big topic. It's a big conversation, right?
I agree with that. Two totally different beasts there, literally. So it makes sense. Beef over here, pork over here. Let's stick with the piggies.
Exactly right. So kicking it off, what's your favorite rib?
For me, okay, here in Southern California, I grew up going to Applebee's and I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. You know, that whole thing. So baby
Yeah.
back ribs was just what I grew up on. But once I discovered a St. Louis cut rib, I was like, oh, now that's a little different. You know, it's a different part of the rib, but it has more, I would say, more meat to it. But with that, it's also got more fat. It's got a little more of everything. Where the baby back is a little bit more refined, and you've just got like the candy parts of it, you know. But I do really love a St. Louis style cut, and the reason why is I feel that because of the more fat that's on there, the more meat that's on there, you can cook it multiple ways and it comes out really good.
Right. So the baby back, obviously, that's the more meatier slab. And then the St. Louis style, which is very trimmed down part of the rib, the rack. I personally, my big favorite is untrimmed rack of ribs, not
Yeah.
baby backs, the regular, but not cut St. Louis style, just straight up. I like all
Yeah.
the extra stuff on my rack. I like cooking it in. And there's a lot of extra fat in there as well, which renders down and gets it, keeps everything a little bit juicier. I really like that.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, and as far as where do I get, I mean, I didn't ask the question, but I'll ask the question for me. And we talked about Costco on our last episode a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, our Costco's here, wherever they source their pork from, it's terrific. And it's still a great price. It's still, I think, $3 or $4 a pound for,
I agree. And you get like 3 racks in
3 racks. Yeah.
one package for like $45 or something less. I don't
Right.
know, something like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, so really enjoy that. When I started, honestly, I don't think I started cooking ribs till I moved to a Kamado style grill. I don't remember ever cooking ribs on my gas grill. Um, but when I got my Kamado, I did because I was watching videos and how do I make this and how do I make that. So I was looking at different ways to make the ribs, right? The different cooking styles for that. And one of the first ones that I ran into, and this was one of the Smoking Dad, I keep referring to Smoking Dad Barbecue because that was literally my video Bible when I was learning how to use my Kamado grill. He just did such a great job of cooking the same thing different ways, and it was wonderful. But yeah, so I got onto that 3-2-1 method and tried that a few times, and yeah, and the result you get, it's a good result if you like that
Right.
outcome, right?
Right.
So 3-2-1, they're a little more fall off the bone,
Yeah.
and then it's all a matter of taste. Do you like it fall off the bone, or do you like a little bite on your rib, right?
Right.
When I had the fall off the bone, I really really liked it, but I also liked the bite. So
Right.
I've been cooking them different ways, So what's your go to?
Yeah. So for me, same thing, right? What I like about a meatier pork rib is I also like not only do I like doing like the 3-2-1 because my family likes they just they don't like chewed off the bone, right? So they really
Right.
do like that method.
Hmm.
But also I have a barrel attachment that goes on a Weber 22-inch kettle. It's a stainless steel barrel, and then I hang my ribs. Okay. And so I'll get like 6 racks of ribs in there because
Right.
it allows so much more space. And then I've got my coal basket down here with lump coal in there and a little water trough in there. And what ends up happening is when the fat starts rendering off those racks of ribs, it falls onto those hot coals and you get a totally different flavor profile because of that fat drippings hitting that hot coals. It is something to really, you got to try it. If you haven't tried it, you got to try it because it completely changes the ribs and gives it a much more smokier, but then you've got like that coal taste in there. It's a very complex flavor in there. Add your favorite rub on there, and man, you just flavor stack that thing. I'd say that is one of my favorite methods. And then another one that's really simple and that goes against a lot of rib cooking is party ribs. I like to cut them up individually. I love to throw a really good rub on there. And this is where the rub becomes really important. I stick them in like a 1 gallon to like a 3 gallon Ziploc and I just kind of shake it all up. And then I'll go use one of these bad boys and I'll just put lump coal on the bottom and it's hot and fast, turn them. And so what ends up happening is the meat will stick more to the bone, right? You don't get as tender, but it comes out really, really good. So I don't, I can't say I have a favorite. I just like the different options.
So what you just described is basically you're doing your ribs indirect.
Well,
I
so
mean direct. I mean direct. I'm
direct,
sorry,
yeah,
direct. You're
live
doing direct
fire,
heat.
direct heat on this. It's the same thing with the barrel smoker. It's just it gets them farther away from that direct heat. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right, right,
So
right.
yeah.
Because
Um,
I've always cooked ribs indirect till about 6 months ago. I started seeing some videos on guys were doing, direct heat ribs, and I talked to
yeah.
some barbecue buddies of mine. Oh yeah, I do direct. It's this much and this temperature, and so I've been trying that, and wow, it turns out pretty darn good, right?
Yeah, if you don't mind a little bite to the meat to
Right.
get it off the bone, if you don't have a problem with that, it's really good. Yeah,
Yeah, I've been doing primarily, pretty traditional indirect.
sure.
I when I have time, I'll do double indirect. Some
Right.
people poo poo that. Oh, double indirect doesn't matter, and it doesn't make anything. Maybe it's my imagination, but when I do double indirect, it just seems to even out the temperature inside the dome and all that. It just seems to smoke it a little bit better, right? Is it how noticeable is it? It's noticeable. Would I have any problem just doing regular indirect with heat deflectors? No, not at all. Happy
Yeah,
to do that too, right?
right.
It just all depends on how much reconfiguring of the grill I have to. Now I'm looking in the background behind you is that VGAS, which obviously I'm very very uh, partial to because that thing, as far as me going out and doing ribs and reconfiguring my grill, man, that made my experience a whole lot better as having one of those in my
Oh, me
backyard.
too. I have this thing packed on the top for all my 22-inch accessories that are in there, and then way back here, I don't know if you can see it, but all the way back here, there's a Weber 26-inch kettle on a cart and a whole thing that I did special to make it really nice. It's actually on a Kamado cart, and I did a little bit of a conversion on the legs and everything to make it work. But I love the 26. So those accessories are on the bottom of the VGAS because on the bottom of the VGAS is the whole open area there. So I can stick my 26-inch grill grates in there. And then I also have a 24-inch paella pan, which I use as a heat deflector that fits under there for that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I love it. And then tons of accessories that go inside here are over there.
Is the grill that's to your right, is that just the straight up spider, or is that the modified Weber spider?
Yeah, so this is the Weber spider. So this is the 22-inch kettle Weber spider with the Spider Grills Webcraft center ring that's here. And it just allows you to gain access into here. I have a pizza conversion kit in there and just all sorts of stuff in there. And then I have the Venom heat controller on the bottom, and then I have the 22-inch Spider Grills cart that they have as well. And then I've got once you have the webcraft area here, then you've got these side shelves that you can put on there, and then they fold down, real easy. I mean, everything's crazy. And then when you get that webcraft, you also have a lift assist that's on there for your top lid. So that's really, really cool. And then I use a Woolly Bully insulated jacket on the top of that. Inside here on the bottom of the bowl, I have a ceramic Kamado bowl insert in there with a heat deflection stone over the top of that. And then I usually run their next level cooking system, which is another heat deflector that goes on there. So it just kind of depends. Like it's really this piece right here, the centerpiece allows me to transform this and do whatever I want with it. And then in like 5 to 7 minutes, I can take that off. Then I can put my Santa Maria grill grate on there, raise and lower it, or I can put my barrel smoker on there. It's the transformer backyard barbecue systems without a doubt. So
Well, that was pretty smart of Spider Grills to make that kit for the Weber.
this is so cool because this actually, so this is like how their Huntsman is, but I feel that it works really great on the Weber because you have so much more space down here, and this is where the charcoal sits. So
Right,
I can have a charcoal basket down here, which you can't have in their Huntsman. So you just
right.
have better, you've got more coal management options with this. It's just super cool. It really unleashes everything. So it's a really well designed thing, almost as well thought out as a VGAS. I got to say, you hit it out of the park that first time. So good job on that. It's helped me out with my organization, helped bring the order to my life, and my wife really appreciates it.
We're getting great feedback from our new VGAS owners, so we're really pleased about that. Today's podcast is sponsored by VGAS, the Vertical Grill Accessory Storage System. Stick around, check it out.
If you got one of these, then you probably have a bunch of these. Are your accessories scattered all over or sitting in a plastic bin rusted and broken? Are you looking for a better way to manage and protect them? If so, then say hello to VGAS. VGAS eliminates clutter and gives your gear the home it deserves. Upgrade your outdoor cooking experience with the first and only system designed specifically for managing and storing grilling accessories.
Anyway, circling back to the rib thing, which, oh God, I'd love to circle back to some ribs this afternoon.
I know, I know.
But poor planning, I didn't get myself in a position to do it for Father's Day but for 4th of July, for sure will.
Oh yeah.
So what do you do? What plans do you have for 4th of July?
Don't have any rate yet, but I tell you what, I think I'm making them right now. I think it's going to be a rib day, and I think I am probably going to go live fire ribs, just because it'll be quick. I don't have to, babysit anything or worry about anything. That's kind of the benefit of kind of doing hot and fast when it comes to ribs. They still come out really good. So
Yeah, you reminded. I was gonna do invite people over and do some pork butts and stuff, pulled pork.
yeah,
But you said something and I almost forgot about them. But party ribs, I haven't tried yet, but it looks super easy, right?
and they come out, and you know what? Everybody really likes them. And the reason why is that I love ribs. Don't get me wrong. I love a rack of ribs, and you've got the seasoning on both sides and the smoke and all that stuff. That's great, right? But it takes like 4 hours for you to get that. I mean, this is the way I look at when I smoke things.
Right,
Usually I don't get a real bold smoke flavor if it's under 4 hours. If it's 4 hours, usually it tastes really nice and smoky. And anything over that tastes really nice and smoky. But anything under 4 hours, I don't get that rich smoke flavor. So it's almost like kind of a waste of my time. That's the way I look at it a lot of times. So if I don't have a solid 4 to 5 hours to commit to a cook, I'm going to go with a barrel smoker right over the top. It's going to take no more than 4 hours, right? Or party ribs are great because when you cut them up individually, you've got seasoning all the way around those ribs. And so
right,
once that fat starts rendering, the juice start flowing, and we talked about this on a previous episode about how what they do is with their steaks, with their really good ribeyes, they flip them like every 45 seconds. That way the juice is kind of like basting itself and
right.
coating it. Well, that's kind of how I do party ribs. I just sit there with my tongs and I'm turning it. So as it starts juicing, I turn it over, and then that juice is now on the top and it's going over the top of the rib. So party ribs are really cool. They really are. But
Yeah,
it's a live fire, very active cook.
yeah, and the key, at least from the videos, 'cause I'm a video guy, right? I look at tons of videos about how to
Yeah,
do stuff, because why reinvent the wheel?
sure.
Is how you finish them, right? So you grill them up, direct heat, all that's good. Then you put them in a pan. You put brown sugar in there and some butter and some other liquid.
Oh, yeah, you can do
Seal
that.
it, put it back on the
Yeah,
grill, and that kind
braising
of
it. Yeah.
oh
Yeah. Yeah, you
oh
could
my
totally
goodness,
do that. I don't normally do that because that's just more time. Usually when I'm doing party ribs, it's like bum, 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 bust it out. But yes, absolutely that works. A little apple cider, or yeah, apple
or
cider
even
or apple
or
juice or
some the whatever barbecue sauce you like. You just
Absolutely.
roll them around in that,
Absolutely.
and
You got it. And
I'm
then
getting
that'll
hungry.
tenderize them without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Now I'm getting hungry.
Yeah. That's like, you know what, man, I might do that.
Now I'm getting
I might do
hungry.
that.
Yeah, so party ribs, I might do both. I might do a butt and party ribs. That would be a night. That would be easy to do. I've got
Yeah.
a extra large Kamado, so I have plenty of room to do that.
Yeah. Perfect.
I might have to do that.
Yeah, they're good. They're
So,
good. It's worth it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was shifting gears just a little bit. I was going through my Desert Storm photo album, and I was looking through it because I was thinking back because I'm so much into grilling now and the grilling world. I remembered that when I was over there after the war actually ended, I was still in country for like 3 or 4 months, and the unit I was leading, we were kind of in the middle of the desert with nothing much to do. Wait till we rotated home. So I took my platoon sergeant with me, and we went scrounging like military people do. We went scrounging, and we found at one of the supply depots they had like this. It wasn't a 55-gallon drum; it was a smaller drum, but it was a grill, cut in half with a hinge on it, and they let us have it. So we grabbed the grill, and then we stocked up on some. We had cans of freeze-dried pork chops and things like that. We would get all these supplies that we took back, and I happened to have in the unit I was leading, there was a guy who was a chef. So we were getting all kinds of dehydrated food, some fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. But he would make amazing meals for us on this grill. And I'll post some pictures of it on the video. I found those pictures and I was scanning them in before we did the podcast. And I was just like, brought back memories. That was one of the coolest barbecues, and didn't know back then because I wasn't really into grilling back then. I just knew what he was doing it was amazing with what little we had to work with, how good of meals he was producing
That's
for
so
everybody.
cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can imagine. Man, I've never had like a dehydrated pork chop before. I've had dehydrated beef, dehydrated chicken, and stuff. But you know what? If you sauce it up with something, and if you have some
Yeah.
fruit sauce thing, something or whatever, something, and a little bit of salt and pepper, you can
Well,
make it work.
that, and if you've been eating MREs for 4 months,
Yeah, yeah, right.
it
You're just
kind of
like,
lower.
man, you're amazing.
Yeah, it lowers the
Maybe
bar a
just
little bit,
mediocre, but
admittedly, but it was pretty awesome.
that's
So
so
that was like,
great.
I thought of that because I was thinking, what's the most unusual barbecue I've ever been to, and that was it,
Man, that's such a
right?
great experience, though. I mean, to have that story and that memory, like that's so cool. I love that. I love that. I mean, I have so many little ones like that too. It's hard to pick from, but that's a very unique one. So that's cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
I'll post some pictures of it on the podcast when I edit
Great.
it up. I'll
Yeah.
put the pictures on there. But yeah, what's the most unique barbecue you've ever been to?
Oh, it's kind of crazy. So I've spent a lot of my life traveling around the world
Yeah,
from, China, all throughout like Europe and the UK, like everywhere, right? But to be fair, I think the craziest thing I had was it was my buddy's. He was like 2 years older than everybody else. He failed a couple years, but he was like his 18th birthday, and his parents or his grandparents were from Mississippi, and they were throwing him this big party, and they lived off the grid. Like they had a cabin, they had like a well, and it was gravity fed, and all sorts of stuff. They had generators and all sorts of stuff. Well, so what they did was they got this tractor out from their neighbor, and they dug this really deep hole. And so this was like, it, honestly, it was like I could stand in it. So it had to have been over 5 feet. So it was close to 6 feet deep. And I'd say it was probably about 4 feet wide and about 6 feet long. And I remember digging this thing out, and we had to get down in there with shovels to kind of clean it all up and stuff. And I'm in this process of getting this. And then they bring this huge piece of steel over that had to have been an inch thick. And we had to drag it with a tractor to bring it over. And they got it right to the edge. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, what have I got myself into here? Like, are they gonna, I mean, I'm a good guy. You don't have to bury me in this thing. So long story short, then we bring over all of this lumber, lots of trees that were cut down. There were junipers and stuff like that, old stuff that had dried, and just filled this up. And I'm like, what is this? And next thing you know, we had this big old bonfire. And then they bring out a pig and they bring out a sheep that had all been processed. It was the carcasses and everything. Little old granny, she did it all by herself, hardcore lady. And I don't even know what it was she put in the carcasses, but then she spiced it up and everything. And then I remember she wrapped it. We had tons of aluminum foil, and she wrapped these carcasses in aluminum foil. And then we had to lower them down after the bonfire had completely died out. We just had this huge bed of coals. And if I remember correctly, I think we put the carcass wrapped in foil directly on that bed of coals. And then we covered it up. And then we came back the next day for the party, where we grabbed the tractor again, now pulled that big giant steel plate off, and then got in there with these crazy like ladders, these steel ladders. It was really, really hot. And we were able to grab it and pull it out. That was a crazy experience. I'd say that was the most, but I tell you what, once she unfolded all that aluminum foil, everything it just fell right off of the bones, everything. And
wow.
We stacked it in with like pita bread, and she had a sauce and just all sorts of cool stuff.
Where was
really
this
unique.
again? Where was it?
That was in Southern California, in my hometown, Agua Dulce, California. But Agua Dulce is kind of a unique place because it's just like 30 minutes away from LA. Tons of movies filmed here in Agua Dulce, Vasquez Rocks. And so there's a lot of people that kind of live off the grid. And she was from Mississippi, and it was my best friend's grandmother. And it was just a crazy cool experience. I would say that one really stands out on my head the most. Not necessarily barbecue, but it is a outdoor cooking type pit experience. So
you were almost describing a luau.
That's what later in life, that's what I discovered it was basically like a Hawaiian luau. Absolutely. Right. But this lady was from Mississippi, and this is just how they did it where she grew up. I'm like, all right. So, I mean, that's crazy because she would have been like, God, she would have been like 70 something. And that was honestly almost 30 years ago. So you think about it, like, how did that get to Biloxi, Mississippi? How did that whole thing? And her family had been doing it for a long time. So like, where did this originate from? Did it originate from the Pacific, or like what? I love the story of food, and I love seeing how everybody cooks things a little bit differently. That was one thing that really stood out to me. And I haven't had experience like that yet again, but I'm searching for it because I know a lot of the Mexican culture, they go through and they cook things in similar type ways. And I'm searching for that, to find that experience in somebody that's really been doing something like that. So,
yeah. And by the way, would love to hear from our viewers what's your most unusual barbecue experience, right? Is most of our experiences are pretty normal, pretty traditional, pretty backyard, but every once in a while you get those one-offs, and I've had a couple, and MrFlavorsmith clearly has had one big one, which sounds amazing. But would love to hear from you, and if you'll put them in the comments. Would love to get your feedback on that.
What about yours? What was your unique experience?
Well, that was in Desert Storm.
Desert Storm,
cooking in the middle of the desert, and after the war, and where we least expected to be able to actually grill anything, we managed to somehow make it happen.
All right. So then, what is let's change this a little bit. What is a thing that you enjoy doing now when it comes to barbecue or outdoor cooking? Like what is something that brings you like to peace and that you really enjoy doing? It doesn't have to be specifically your backyard either.
When it comes to barbecue and grilling?
Yeah. Smoking, cooking. Is there something that makes you happy?
Yeah, when somebody else makes an amazing beef rib. which
Fair.
which by the way, as I've gone through this barbecue journey and more specifically through the VGAS journey, and I get to meet other influencers, and I'm paying more attention online on Facebook to all these great videos that are out there by these awesome influencers like you,
Yeah.
right? And they're making beef ribs, and I'll always tell them, if I ever come out and visit you, you got to make me a beef rib.
Gotta make beef ribs. Yeah.
So I got reservations, so to speak, and I got them in Texas. I got them in
There
New
you
Jersey and North Carolina. So I'm lining them up all over the country. So when I travel, somebody's going to make me some beef ribs.
Well, there it is. You're going to have to do a documentary about beef ribs and just do a whole little, journey.
And I'll feature them on the podcast. I don't care. Give me a beef rib. You're on the podcast.
You got it. You got it.
So
I love it. I think for me, my grandfather, he had this big fishing show, like a trade show where we'd have hundreds of thousands of people come through. It was a consumer thing, anything fishing, tackle, resorts, RVing, boats, everything. And one of the exhibitors, he went to Germany once. This was like way back in the 70s, might have been the 60s. And he brought back this little stainless steel box, right? And he was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And the stainless steel box was basically a Streamside smoker. And you would put little, it's like alder sawdust in the bottom of this thing, and then you take a trout and you just kind of open it up, gut it out and everything, and cut its head off, cut its tail off so it fit in there, stick a couple lime or lemon slices right inside its carcass, and then just stick it in there, and you would smoke it over a campfire for like 12 to like 18, 20 minutes. And then the skin would just pull off, the meat would just come right off, and you'd have this amazing smoked fish. And so he brought it to the show, and it was a huge hit, took off, and now you see them everywhere, mainly on Amazon now. But my favorite thing is to go use one of those when I'm fishing, like not necessarily Streamside, but back at the campsite. It's just real easy to cook. All my buddies love it. They're like, hey, if MrFlavorsmith's coming, then if MrFlavorsmith and not the normal person comes, but MrFlavorsmith comes, then he's welcome to join us because he's going to bring that awesome little smoker box and everything and cook our trout up. So that's a fun one for me because everybody gets around it and they ask questions, and you're usually in a really beautiful place when you're using it. So that's kind of like my thing.
That's cool. That's cool. All right. Well, we're about running out of time. So I will bid you adieu and a very happy 4th of July.
Got it.
Stay safe, and we will reconvene in a couple of weeks, and we'll keep plugging away on this podcast. Looking for your feedback. Please leave us in the comments if there's something you want us to talk about. Would love to hear about your most unusual barbecues. We'd definitely like to hear that. And if you've got a really cool, different way to make ribs, love to hear that too. So
absolutely. Yeah. Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Happy 4th of July. Take care, everybody. Bye.